It's going to be a mainly quiet evening through much of the region, a little on the breezy side at times in a couple of areas, but also not as cold, especially out west. We're talking about lows tonight in the upper 40s to low 50s. And tomorrow we spike back up into the 80s on the thermometer, and by a pretty good margin in a couple of locations. But then we slide back a little bit, though still staying above average as we head toward the tail end of the work and school week. We'll talk about all of that and the rest of your forecast coming up. But until then, First to 4 starts right now.
Live from KELOLAND Media Group. KELOLAND News, first at 4.
Coming up, how many varieties of pumpkins you can find at Cherry Rock Farms.
Plus, what's behind the slump in tourism numbers in Minnesota?
And we have a preview of tonight's vice presidential debate. Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in to First at 4. I'm Don Jorgensen.
And I'm Kelly Volk. We have an update to a story we first brought you this morning on KELOLAND this morning. A shooting near Stevens High School in Rapid City has turned deadly. 18-year-old Marquise Walker died from his injuries at the hospital. 2 other men were also brought to the hospital with gunshot wounds.
Police say that the shooting happened inside in an apartment in the area. Officers were called to the scene just after 9 o'clock local time last night. It's a developing story, so be sure to stay with KELOLAND News on air and online for updates as they become available.
An Indiana man is pleading guilty to cyber crimes involving a Sioux Falls company. 21-year-old Evan Frederick Light faces up to 20 years behind bars for each charge. A sentencing date has not been set. Court documents say that in February of 2022, Light stole personal information and over $37 million in cryptocurrency from nearly 600 victims from around the world, including South Dakota.
The latest crime statistics show that Sioux Falls remains a safe community. The police department released those today, showing major crimes like aggravated assaults and robberies are seeing a slight decrease compared to 2023. The Sioux Falls Area Drug Task Force says it's seen a significant increase in the amount of fentanyl and cocaine seized so far this year compared to previous years. And for the first time since 2017, we are seeing a decline in the number of stolen vehicles reported in Sioux Falls. 950 vehicles have been reported stolen this year so far. We're going to hear from city leaders about the numbers later tonight on KELOLAND News.
The Harrisburg School District sent families an email notifying them of whooping cough within their schools. They say there are 3 confirmed cases so far. Students who may have been exposed were given instructions through email on what to look out for and who may be most at risk. The district says they're working with public health officials to keep their staff and students safe.
Yeah, probably not quite into the cold and flu season just yet, but it got a little cool last night.
Yeah, it's feeling more like fall out there, Adam.
Yeah, don't get used to it, though. This is basically fall coming around saying, yeah, it's fall, and now summer's coming back in because it does not want to go away quite yet. And I'll tell you this right now, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So if you like these temperatures, hold on to this memory for a little while. There's downtown Sioux Falls, 66 with a west wind at 8 miles per hour. It actually felt like October today, but like I said, don't get used to it. We're already starting to see that warm up take place out west with a few more clouds out there for good measure. There's Rapid City, 77 out in Pennington County. Notice that breeze, though, out of the south at 19 miles per hour. It is going to continue to stay at bare minimum breezy and then get pretty warm at times as well. 72 at the capital, 70 Faith and Mobridge, Buffalo sitting at 73, 69 degrees up toward Aberdeen, 66 in Yankton, 65 for Marshall, 67 over in Spencer. Now, we still have red flag warnings in place for basically the western half of KELOLAND through this evening. Please continue to be careful with any outdoor heat sources, and this is not going to be the last time we talk about any kind of fire weather concern for the next several days, because we continue to keep the breeze in place, we keep the arid air mass in place as well, and then we also have basically no rain to talk about whatsoever. That being said, we do at least have cloud cover. That's something to talk about. Unfortunately, it's just basically there for show. There is nowhere near enough moisture to support any kind of shower, light or otherwise. So as we go into the day tomorrow, another dry day, another sunnier day on the way. But take a look at those temperatures. We jump right back into the low to mid 80s across southeastern and northeastern KELOLAND for that matter, with that breeze also picking up predominantly out of the west. This will be ahead of a dry cold front that moves on through. Outside of some 70s up in northwestern South Dakota, 80s to near 90 the farther south and east you go toward the Nebraska border. We're going to start to see that pendulum back and forth motion along the thermometer for the next several days, where every couple of days we get a spike on the temperature side of things. We'll talk about that. We'll also go through the rest of that dry 7-day forecast as we head through the hour.
Thanks, Adam. Country music icons and multi-platinum selling act Rascal Flatts will embark on their Life is a Highway tour next year. The 21-stop tour will make a Sioux Falls stop at Denny Sanford Premier Center on February 27th. Tickets will go on sale this Friday. For more details, just check out this story on KELOLAND.com.
Cherry Rock Farms in Brandon is getting ready to open its pumpkin patch for the season. The family farm offers more than 20 varieties of pumpkins with different shapes, sizes, colors, warts, no warts, and so on.
The non-standard orange ones are becoming super popular. So really take your time and look around, see, explore. Don't just stop at the first one. Kind of pick what suits your fancy, and you can carve it or paint it or just leave it on the front porch. But there's lots to choose from.
The festivities start this Saturday at Cherry Rock Farms. The pumpkin patch will be open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday until the weather no longer allows. We're going to tell you what the event has to offer besides just picking pumpkins coming up in the next half hour.
Well, new numbers show tourism slumped this summer in Minnesota. David Schuman with our CBS affiliate Minneapolis shows us what's behind the slowdown.
Summer 2024 wrote different stories for Sugar Lake Lodge near Grand Rapids and Appledorn's Sunset Bay Resort on Lake Mille Lacs.
Honestly, it was incredible. One of the better summers we've had.
We did see an overall decline in the occupancy.
At Sugar Lake, owner Abby Oxborough says family reunions are what boosted her business, a segment of customers that Appledorn says it's also focusing on.
Everybody's kind of being a little bit tighter in how much they're spending and what they're spending on, and I think that quality time is the push.
More than 250 hospitality and tourism businesses responded to a survey by the Federal Reserve, Hospitality Minnesota, and Explore Minnesota Tourism. Half of them said business was slower this summer than last, and higher cost of living cutting into customer demand was cited as one of the reasons why. Inflation has slowed down considerably, but 60% of businesses said their expenses going up was a top challenge.
We've seen the uptick in charges for food, transportation, alcohol.
Wages are at an all-time high for us.
It was also a rainy summer, which didn't help. Despite all this, the survey found 2/3 of businesses were either optimistic or neutral about the next 6 months.
There's always that wonder, with an election and what the economy is going to look like. Are people going to want a vacation? We don't know.
I think we're going to do excellent this next year. Keep the small business owner in mind.
David Schuman, WCCO News.
Ben Chelly says Appledorn's has added new amenities and thinks business is going to be excellent next year.